We live in perilous times, and even more perilous if you happen to be a Republican and in Congress or in the Senate. We know now Republican congressmen, senators can't play baseball out in the open, but now apparently it's dangerous for them to mow their own lawns. Senator Rand Paul, Friday, cutting his own grass when somebody came and tackled him from behind. He has suffered 5 broken ribs, cuts on his nose and mouth, and bruised lungs. Now, we don't know what started this attack. It's possible it was triggered by the, Paul family's use of bright-colored garden gnomes, or maybe he was playing music too loud in the neighborhood. Maybe it was a combination of the loud music and annoying garden gnomes. But whatever the case, the neighbor snapped. So what is it that we know about the neighbor? Well, we know that he's a registered Democrat. Okay, there's lots of those in Kentucky. He hates President Trump. Okay. And he follows postings by Occupy Democrats and their social media accounts. How do we know this? Well, surprise, surprise, just like the man who attacked the congressional baseball practice, he's very active on Facebook, and his page is full of anti-Trump and anti-Republican ramblings. He even posted an Occupy Democrat Noam Chomsky meme calling the Republican Party, quote, the most dangerous organization in world history. Well, if you really believe that, wouldn't you think that you would have to take them out? Not all are like this, but why are so many on the left these days so angry and so willing to resort to violence? All of the talk of the past several months has been on the danger posed by the violent right, but we are seeing a real rise in the violent left that harkens back to the late 1960s and early 1970s. Yesterday, Weather Underground and Students for a Democratic Society, they are today's Antifa, and all the other radical left groups, they took to the streets. On Saturday, the left-wing group Refuse Fascism kicked off demonstrations in nearly 24 cities. Their demand is the removal of President Trump and Vice President Pence. They claim to continue protesting in the streets until that happens. Although the turnout was low, the action sounds eerily similar to the days of rage in 1969. John Jacobs, the leader in both the SDS, Students for Democratic Society, and the Weather Underground, stood on the rubble of a police statue they had just bombed in '69 and compared their protest to the fight against fascism in World War II. Does that sound familiar? The Weather Underground turned into a full-on domestic terror group. In 1970, police found in one of their hideouts 57 sticks of dynamite and 4 completed bombs. In 75, they bombed the headquarters of the U.S. State Department in Washington, D.C. The question we should be asking ourselves, is the radical left going in this same direction? The answer is clear. They're using the same rhetoric. They're following the same playbook as they have before. The violent left is evolving and growing. People are getting more and more angry, even in small suburban neighborhoods where the local celebrity is a politician in Washington who still mows his own lawn there in Kentucky.
We mentioned this only briefly because of the news today, but isn't it a big story that a U.S. senator was assaulted on his own property?
Huge.
And so the first story comes out, and this is a weird...
I agree with you.
There's something weird about this. I don't know what it is.
At first, it was just like it was a little event, and he was fine and only had a couple of scratches.
Yeah, he said he was fine. Now we're hearing that he has... Rand Paul, if you don't know, was out mowing his lawn and was attacked by his neighbor, apparently. And now Rand Paul has 5 broken ribs and bruised lungs. It was apparently a pretty major attack. He may be out from the Senate for a while.
And it looks like it was politically motivated.
Yeah, the Blaze has a story. The FBI has confirmed the motive behind the assault on Rand Paul. And they say that the FBI has launched an investigation. They believe the attack, which occurred Friday afternoon, was politically motivated. So we have a situation where Christians are being murdered at church. Separately, a political attack against a sitting U.S. senator in which he's maybe out for weeks, months in recovery. Is a registered Democrat whose Facebook page was riddled with posts voicing his opposition to Donald Trump and the GOP.
He was a big Occupy Democrat.
Yeah. He was eventually, I guess, $5,000 bond. He was charged with fourth-degree assault, and he has since been released. I mean,
released?
Yeah, I mean, that's a big-time crime. This is not something. Now, back in the day, senators used to beat each other up on the floor of the Senate. No longer the case, thankfully. I think that's a good development for the country. But the fact this happened, and then it was reported as such a minor incident, and it has been escalated so much now, and now it is politically, it seemed like they first told us about it in this way of like, oh, it was a neighborly conflict. Like these guys had a rivalry or something in the neighborhood. Now it's politically associated. There's something very strange going on with the story.
There's something wrong with that story.